Tor, how you doing? Good evening. How you been? How you doing? What else good to see you as well, brother? How you doing? Long time. How have you been? Good evening, sir. Marius, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? How's it going? It's going good. How's it going for you, Woodhouse? How's work? How's business doing? Evening, Miles of CMF. Joe, good to see you as well. How you doing? Evening. Dennis, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Harry, good to see you as well. How you doing? Carl, good to see you as well, brother. How you doing? I've been good. Let's go, Woodhouse. So, I think by the time everyone tunes in, we'll do a gist of what we're going to be talking about tonight's live show. And then by the time we get to the first news, everyone's tuned in for the live show. Business has been a journey. Let's go. I'm hoping it's a good journey. Now, on tonight's live show, we're going to be talking about, so we'll go through the gist as usual, and then by the time we finish with the gist of what we're going to be talking about, everyone's pretty much tuned in for the first part of the live show. Morning, Miles of CMF. How's your day been, Miles, today? It's been good, Shelly. How's your day, Shelly? How you doing? Oh, morning. Hope your day's going to go good today. I just realized you said morning. Shelly, let's go. Now, on tonight's live show, we're going to be talking about Joe Biden on tonight's live show. We're also going to be regarding the bill he recently vetoed and what the implications will be regarding this veto Joe Biden just did. We're also going to be talking about the global crypto ownership and how the global crypto ownership has pretty much reached 500 million users right now, according to actual data. We're also going to be talking about Senator Ted Cruz and his ventures into Bitcoin mining industries regarding Texas. We're also going to be talking about the Ark Invest and 21 shares regarding them going their separate ways when it came to Ethereum ETFs. We're also going to be talking about Google and Magic Leap, how they've partnered together to essentially go forward on the metaverse space. Google is about to be getting ready to enter the metaverse space. Google also has quite a lot of crypto partners inside the metaverse space as well. So are they going to be using any of their blockchain partners? We'll see. We're also going to be talking about tonight's live show regarding Ripple and essentially Brad talking about, is there ever going to be an IPO for Ripple? Is what Brad is going to talk about. We'll go through that as well on tonight's live show. We're also going to be going through Franklin Templeton and how they're embracing a long-term strategy with the SEC regarding things that are changing inside the United States, and historic things that are changing is what they're going to be talking about. We're also going to be going through regarding Van Eck. Van Eck's CEO hails the idea of Ethereum ETFs, and the approval is going to be quite historic inside of a crypto shift, is what Van Eck is saying. We'll go through their perspective. We're also going to be talking about Russia on tonight's live show as well. Russia is getting ready to invest about $100 million into Bitcoin mining industries, where they're going to be setting up a massive Bitcoin mining infrastructure inside of Russia worth about $100 million. It's pretty much their largest investment so far regarding Bitcoin mining. We're also going to be talking about Robert Kennedy Jr. and his perspectives on moving forward. Now, he is also a political candidate for the next president of the United States, and he's coming out and in front of a massive audience, basically a blockchain panel. And he's talking about how crypto is freedom and transparency is needed inside of this digital world we're about to be all living in. We're also going to be talking about tonight's live show regarding the future of global financial systems and tokenization. And we're also going to be going through on tonight's live show regarding the KPMG, the data that's been revealed regarding how far we've gotten on CBDC so far and tokenized deposits and stablecoins in terms of the entire world. The data that's come up essentially came through so far through the KPMG. And we're also going to go through regarding Ripple's CEO on his perspectives on crypto developments and how far they've come. So, quite a mixture of news to go through from Russia and perspectives from presidential candidates, Brad, Van Eck, Franklin Templeton. Quite a lot of things to go through on tonight's live show, and obviously Joe Biden vetoing the bill, and crypto ETF news as well, and the global outcome as well. But before we go through any of that, first we'll do essentially the disclaimer and so on, the intro of the live show. So, welcome to the CMF live show. If you're watching this for the first time ever, welcome to the CMF live show. Every single night, you can tune into this live show at 11:25 p.m. onwards UK time onto this live show on X or on YouTube, and we talk about recent news essentially that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrencies, in terms of CBDC, stablecoins, AI, regulations, politics, because it all plays in together. And we talk about how the world is completely changing as we know it forever and going into a digital sense. And we also do Q&As, which means if you have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. I read everybody's comments one by one, and I respond to everyone. And the disclaimer of this live show, as always, is not financial advice, not political advice, and whatever I say is only for entertainment purposes. So welcome to the CMF live show if you're watching it for the first time ever, and if you're regular, let's go CMF. Now, before we go through any of the news, let's go inside the comment section first and answer these questions, and then we'll go straight into the first news, and then back to Q&A, and then news, Q&A, news, Q&A, just like usual. So, doing great. Can't wait to hear the news. Very disappointed regarding Joe Biden vetoing. Yeah, from someone emailing me that one of the e-bikes is fast and they don't stop emailing me about it. They stopped, so God willing, it's sorted. Let's go Woodhouse. Good evening, Miles and OCMF. JP, good to see you. So how you doing, brother? How you been? They say it's so sensitive, but it's fine. I didn't ruin my holiday over it. Okay, well, that's good. What's up, Miles? Stalling here. Stalling, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been, Stalling? Evening, Miles and CMF. Jason, good to see you as well. How you doing? Good evening, Professor Miles and the rest of the family. Funky brother, good to see you as well. How you doing? Good evening, Miles and CMF. Hope you all had a great weekend. Let's go, David. How you doing, David? How you been? I spent all my profits on paying the website and Wingstop. Paying the website and Wingstop. Well, it's the perks of owning a business. Miles, OND Finance, doing really well. I just took £500 profits. Once again, thank you. No problem, Funky Brother, anytime. Yeah, ONDO is doing quite well for itself. Do you know what another crypto project is doing quite well? And I mentioned it a while ago. There was a crypto project that I mentioned a while ago, but it was a high-risk play. And essentially, it's on the TON network, TON. And on this live show once, about 2 weeks back, I shared the news of Telegram's founder. So Telegram's founder is obviously very big on TON chain, as I've explained previously before. And TON is their only platform, and essentially will only be their only platform moving forward for Telegram by the looks of it, because they developed it on the early days. Now, on the TON network, there's a crypto project by the name of Notcoin. NOT is the ticker. And I revealed the news on this live show that Telegram's founder received a ridiculous amount of Notcoin for free from the Telegram users. They all sent it to his wallet, and he said that he's going to be keeping these tokens until Notcoin reaches a $1 price mark or so on. Now, to put in perspective, Notcoin has 100 billion tokens. It's going to need quite a lot of money to get to $1. But Notcoin has been up since I mentioned that news a ridiculous amount. Even today, it's up 35%. So since I mentioned that news, and since I mentioned Telegram's founder said he's going to be holding this and waiting for it to reach $1 price figure, it might get there the way it's going. Not obviously overnight, but who knows? You never know with crypto. But yeah, Notcoin is doing quite well for itself as well on Telegram's chain. Hopefully, when I mentioned it was below a cent, now it's reached 1 cent. I think it's 2 zeros below a cent when I mentioned or something. I don't know. But it's doing quite well for itself. So yeah, when Funky Brother mentioned ONDO, when I mentioned to everybody in the early days ONDO when it first launched, and it's doing well now as well. I just remember that story regarding Notcoin. Notcoin is doing quite well for itself. Hope CoinMove is coming along. Yes, it is. Let's go Woodhouse. And if you're wondering, have I brought into Notcoin? Nope. I did not buy into Notcoin. I only shared the news. Hit the like button on YouTube, guys, to help the lives reach more people from ours. Let's go, Shelly. Yes, if you're watching this on YouTube, drop a like. If you're enjoying this live show already at the beginning, I hope your day has been good, Miles. It's been good, Lena. How you doing, Lena? Brother, your guidance has been very fruitful for all of us. Let's go, Funky Brother. Could we expect an XRP dip because of the Biden news? If XRP does dip, it's going to be 2 to 3 cents as usual. It's amazing the 180 turnaround. The US government was going in, and then Biden does this to the crypto space. They must have a plan. They do. They definitely have a plan, and the plan is CBDCs, no matter what. Hi everyone, Denise, good to see you. How you doing? CBDCs is beneficial for only Ripple. The rest of the 24,000 crypto projects, the 24,000, so it's about 24,000 crypto projects, let's say roughly. Only one of them really benefits from CBDCs, and that's Ripple. So if Joe Biden vetoing this whole scenarios and maybe vetoing more things along the way, then it's going to give CBDCs the only option in the United States by the looks of it. Denise, good to see you. How you doing? So I think that's the plan. No matter what, CBDCs are coming. It's so funny how everything is coming together. I feel like I have powers being around people. Let's go, Camel. Who don't know what will happen with CBDCs and all that? Fair enough. Good evening, Miles and all CMF. Iman, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? How's everyone doing today? I'm doing great, Iman. How you been? Hello, how you doing, Will Who? Will W, how you doing? Worth getting into regarding Notecoin, if you want to. I mean, it's sitting at 1 cent. It's a high risk play, is what it is. Notecoin is a high risk play. It's 1 cent, but it's extremely high risk play. Just keep that in mind. A very high risk play. It could go back to zero. Waiting for the WeCoin to move. Have you heard of Brett? I have heard of Brett. It's the only meme coin or the meme coin that's on the Base network. And I know regarding the news of so obviously Coinbase regarding their own chain is Base, but it's upon OP, essentially Ethereum, and their only meme coin is Brett. And I know I've heard about the news of some people putting money into it and making some ridiculous amounts from it, but there's also a lot of people that put money into it and they didn't make much out of it. But it's a high risk play. If you are holding Brett, I wish you the best, and I hope you make a lot of money for yourself. Any other projects, Miles, worth looking into right now? Any other projects worth looking into? No. I would say, look, the only ones, still stick to the legitimate play. Still stick to the legitimate play, but also keep your eyes on Telegram's chain. Okay, because I feel like, because everybody right now is still focused on Solana's chain. There's some focus going towards Base chain, but I feel like nobody's focusing on Telegram's chain, which is Ton. I feel like Ton is going to produce some tokens. I feel like there's going to be some tokens on Ton's network that are going to be going absolutely ballistic on Ton's network because of Telegram. So I would say keep your eyes on Ton's network, just in case they introduce something. Not Tron, Ton. If anybody's watching this for the first time, Ton. So I would say keep your eyes on Ton's network. Say hello to JP for me. He's on X, so I can't do it to him on YouTube. JP Woodhouse. JP Woodhouse is saying hi. Do you think we will see 0.45 possibility? What's up, Miles and CMF? Billo, good to see you. How you doing? Congratulations to Real Madrid fans. Let's go, Billo. Hi, Miles and family. Hope you're all doing good. Ian, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? We can token. Yes, Pepe's best. Okay, thanks, Miles. No problem, Shelly, anytime. Now, first news on tonight's live show is Joe Biden. Sleepy Joe is once again at it and ruining crypto dreams for the entire crypto space by vetoing a bill. So, Joe Biden has vetoed a bill. Now, by the way, interesting enough, there was news coming out that Joe Biden is having conversations with crypto companies on, maybe he's going to be going towards cryptocurrencies. And then this happened. Joe Biden has vetoed a bill aimed at overturning SEC crypto accounting standards. US President Joe Biden has taken a decisive, essentially, stance in the ongoing debate surrounding cryptocurrency regulations by vetoing the bill that aimed at overturning the Securities and Exchange Commission's regulation regarding crypto accounting standards. The regulation in question, known as SAB 121, sets a specific guidelines for firms holding crypto assets, requiring them to record these assets as liabilities on their balance sheets. Joe Biden upholds the SEC's authority over accounting practices. In an official statement dated May 31st, President Joe Biden emphasized the importance of maintaining the SEC's authority over accounting practices, stating that a reversal of the SEC's decision could potentially undermine the broader regulatory efforts aimed at protecting consumer and investors. So in other words, Joe Biden essentially is backing Gary Gensler. So Sleepy Joe and Weasel Gensler are hand in hand. Biden's veto underscores his administration commitment to implementing regulatory guardrails that ensure the safety and stability of financial markets, while also acknowledging the potential benefits of crypto asset innovation. As previously stated, the bill, which sought to repeal the SEC's cryptocurrency accounting guidelines, has essentially gathered support in both the House and the Senate. So right now, everybody's against Joe Biden and Gary Gensler. Backlash over Biden's decision to veto the bill. The decision to veto the bill has sparked immediate backlash from various quarters, particularly within the crypto industry. Side critics argue that the veto represents a setback for innovation and financial freedom, while some describe it as a slap in the face to those advocating for a more flexible regulatory approach. The Blockchain Association, a prominent crypto advocacy group, expressed disappointment with the administration decision, highlighting that they're completely against Joe Biden. Consensus reached in both chambers of Congress. Similarly, Cody, chief policy officer at the Digital Chamber, said that the veto emphasizing potential chilling effects on innovation within the crypto space. The veto has also raised concerns within the crypto community regarding the administration's stance on cryptocurrency regulations, despite speculation that Biden campaign had been essentially engaging with crypto industry stakeholders to adapt a more pro-crypto stance. Apparently, the veto suggests a different approach, as in Joe Biden is not in favor of crypto by the looks of it. In response to the veto, a senior advisor to Unicoin and a former senior advisor to Biden called for a more nuanced decision on the integration of crypto into the financial system, urging both candidates to articulate their perspectives and plans for the future of crypto regulation. Sheila Warren's CEO of the Crypto Council expressed displeasure with the veto, suggesting that publicly stated positions on crypto regulations could be difficult to walk back once articulated. As the cryptocurrency regulation debate continues in the US, all eyes now turn to both the House to see whether they can raise a two-thirds majority to overturn the president's veto. Everybody inside the crypto space is talking about how it's pretty much done for regarding Joe Biden. Joe Biden vetoes it and it's pretty much case closed. In reality, it's not really still case closed and it can be overturned. So, as the cryptocurrency regulation debate continues in the US, all eyes now turn to both the houses to see whether they can raise two-thirds majority to overturn the president's veto. So, there is still hope that they can overturn even Joe Biden's speech regarding him vetoing crypto, well, this particular act, only this particular act, but if they get two-thirds of the votes of majority, they can remove his veto, essentially. The next news to go through on tonight's live show is global crypto ownership has risen to about 500 million users now, which is quite an increase. So it's encompassing about 6.8% of the world's population. If you ever wondered, are you too late to the crypto space, or is there any time left inside the crypto space? Only about 6.8% of the world technically is inside the crypto space, so you are still quite early, which is good news for some of you, which is good news for everyone pretty much. If you ever want to pack your bags even more inside the crypto space, 6.8% of the crypto space, 6.8% of the world is technically only inside of crypto. Now, to be fair, out of that 6.8%, there is a lot of corporations which have a lot of money, which is why the prices on some projects are very high. But yeah, Joe Biden vetoing that bill, it still can be overturned by the House majority. If two-thirds majority votes come through, then they can overturn Joe Biden's veto, which is something that nobody said inside the crypto space so far regarding this whole veto situation. But there's also a rumor going around that the reason why Joe Biden vetoed it is because of the Banking Association. Apparently, the Banking Association sent a letter to Joe Biden to veto this bill, because it does affect the Banking Association. The bankers, in other words. Now, before we go to the next news, let's go inside the comment section. Hey, Woodhouse, good to see you on live. Woodhouse, JP said hi. I hope business is doing well is also what he said. Come on, let's go. Evening, Miles and CMF. Piers, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Brother, today is the 1st of June. This is the start of the whole banking thing. Yeah. Miles, do you not think that Gary looks like a younger version of Sleepy Joe? Miles, do you not think that Gary looks like a younger version of Sleepy Joe? Possibility. I mean, there's some resemblance there. They both look like Mr. Burns from Simpsons. Hi, Miles and CMF. George, good to see you as well. How you doing? I missed the TikTok lives. Don't worry about it. What else? Hey, C2, good to see you as well. How you doing? That world percent might be even lower because some people, especially whales, hold many, many wallets, which is true. So not as many people as we think are in crypto, especially in crypto with a few thousand minimum versus a few hundred, which is a very fair point. Good analysis. Happy Pisces as well. Good to see you. Happy Pisces. How you doing? Very good analysis. Is Binance UK and KuCoin okay? Still okay to use? I personally still use Binance, and I'm in the UK. I still use Binance. I'm in London. There's no issues for me whatsoever. And I still use, essentially, KuCoin as well. There's no issues for me whatsoever. But obviously, I never keep assets on exchanges. Never is what I do. So only cold storage wallets is where I keep my assets. If I'm going to be buying and selling, then I keep assets on exchanges. If I'm holding, then they should not be held inside of an exchange. I said that a few days ago, I think on Telegram or here on YouTube. Max, good to see. Carrie, good to see you as well. How you doing, brother? How you been? What time frame are we talking about with the 2/3 against the veto? I think soon time frame is what they're looking at right now. Very soon it has to be. Caleb, how you doing? How you been? So, global crypto ownership. But High Prices did make a good analysis as well. Very good analysis. Global crypto ownership reaches 562 million. Now, they might be also, Happy Pisces, one thing, they might be also basing this on KYC as well. So if they're basing it on wallets, then the data could be slightly off. If they're basing it on KYC, then the data would be accurate, unless people are using multiple IDs. A recent report indicates that the global adoption of digital currencies has reached new heights, with 562 million individuals actively using cryptocurrencies, which is a substantial increase from 420 million in 2023. This surge represents a 6.8% of the world's population, signifying a growing acceptance and integration of digital assets into mainstream financial ecosystems. Asia stands as a front-runner in this surge, with cryptocurrency ownerships soaring from 268 million users to 326 million users in Asia, reflecting a remarkable 21.8% increase in users from Asia in cryptocurrencies. This growth underscores Asia's pivotal role in shaping the landscape of digital currencies. North America closely follows, with ownership climbing from 52.1 million to 72.2 million, representing a significant 38.6% increase in cryptocurrency users in the United States. The report reveals that South America has experienced a substantial surge as well in cryptocurrency ownerships, skyrocketing from 25.5 million to 55.2 million, marking a staggering 116% increase in users. Similarly, Europe has witnessed notable growth as well, with ownerships rising from 30.7 million to 49.2 million, a 60% increase as well in Europe regarding crypto users. And Africa saw a moderate rise from 40.1 million to 43.5 million, reflecting an 8.5% increase in Africa's market space regarding crypto. In Oceania, interest more than doubled, growing from 1.4 million to 3 million, a significant 114% increase in crypto users. The global adoption of cryptocurrencies continues to rise, with Asia and North America leading the way. However, investors must remain cautious of the growing threat of crypto scams as well, highlighted by the regulatory bodies like the SEC. As digital currencies become more mainstream, users must stay informed and exercise caution to protect their investments. Yes, facts. I've said this as well. The more we go towards this whole digital space, hacking and scamming is going to get very advanced the more we go towards this digital space. So definitely safeguard yourself so you don't get hacked or compromised. None of your wallets get compromised in any sort of way. Understanding cybersecurity is a key factor of protecting yourself in a digital world, especially. Now, Senator Ted Cruz is the next news we're going to go through. Senator Ted Cruz is apparently now getting involved into Bitcoin mining industries, where he's either investing or going to be opening up his own Bitcoin mining industry. So politicians are getting involved in Bitcoin mining. It's the next news to go from tonight's live show. It shows adoption happening even in politics. Harry, do you think the Biden deal is another distraction? Would Biden reverse this decision? Could Biden, the United States president, reverse his decision? Yes, possibility, highly. Presidents have all the power, on paper, let's say, to, reverse any decision they want anywhere down the line. Miles, we have a very big family, yet there are only 5 of us who are into cryptocurrencies. Miles, we have a very big family, yet there are only 5 of us who are very into cryptocurrencies. 5 members of your own family inside of cryptocurrencies, is that what you're mentioning? Now, Senator Ted Cruz. Senator Ted Cruz ventures into Bitcoin mining in Texas. On X, Senator Ted Cruz posted saying, "I'm proud to join the ranks of Texas Bitcoin miners," and also shared a picture of the mining systems. Senator Ted Cruz's initiative was commended by the Marathon Digital CEO Fred, who also welcomed him into the Bitcoin mining community and highlighted his contribution to the network security. While several US states still forbid mining, Texas is believed to be supporting the sector. Texas provides an ideal environment for Bitcoin mining because of its business-friendly laws and plaintiffs and reasonably priced energy resources as well. Texas also offers wind, solar, and natural gas power alternatives for Bitcoin mining industries, few regulatory barriers, and a favorable climate for mining operations that are both profitable and sustainable. The unexpected rise in popularity in Bitcoin mining in small Texas hamlets of Iran is what is called highlights the decentralization of economic activities outside of the large cities. Bitcoin mining in Texas promises substantial economic benefits, including job creation, the improvement of local infrastructures, and more tax revenues for towns. As mining activities grow, they will create jobs and simultaneously investments in energy infrastructure, which is true. Regarding Bitcoin mining industries, if Bitcoin mining industries keep on going out to different countries or different states, for example, and setting up Bitcoin mining institutions, let's say for example, or warehouse type of situations, it does create more jobs, and it also they get investments coming in for solar panels or investments coming in for wind turbos and so on, which also boost local businesses if they do sell them. They also increase the tax income for public services and long-term development projects, ultimately improving the state's economic health. Senator Ted Cruz's support for Bitcoin mining illustrates the industry's strong political backing in Texas and how it can spur innovation and economic expansion. This support creates the conditions for regulatory frameworks for encouraging growth and investments which eventually helps the development of technology and the creation of jobs. Texas' support for Bitcoin mining is consistent with the wider adoption trends of cryptocurrencies, and Senator Ted Cruz's endorsement serves as another evidence that the state's dedication to promoting innovation in the digital economy. With Senator Ted Cruz's backing, Texas may be able to overcome challenges and capitalize on the state's advantages despite regulatory uncertainty and environmental concerns surrounding states and Bitcoin mining industries. Some states inside the United States don't like the idea of Bitcoin mining because they say it damages the power grid. Texas can set the standard for sustainable mining methods thanks to its wealth of energy resources and technological powers. The states can simultaneously economic growth and position itself as a global leader in environmentally responsible cryptocurrency mining by coordinating measures with Ted Cruz's support and encouraging cooperation. In conclusion, with Senator Ted Cruz's support, Texas is primed to lead in Bitcoin mining despite the challenges. By leveraging its resources and technology, the state can drive sustainable growth, solidifying its role in the global digital economy. The senator's continued dedication to the Bitcoin sector is demonstrated by the most recent action. He has continuously pushed for the acceptance of cryptocurrencies, which he has, even suggesting that his campaign accepts cryptocurrency donations. Well, he is a politician and any donation will do. Ted Cruz is notable for owning a significant quantity of Bitcoin, having spent $50,000 on it in 2022, is when he bought his first Bitcoin. But yeah, regarding Ted Cruz, apparently he's going headfirst into Bitcoin mining institutions, advocating for Texas Bitcoin, trying to create more jobs, trying to bring sustainable energy inside of Texas as well. He's doing all of this. Obviously, he's getting donations from probably Marathon Digital. Marathon Digital's majority shareholders are from BlackRock. And ironically, okay, because Marathon Digital's majority shares are from BlackRock. And Marathon Digital is one of the biggest in the entire world when it comes to Bitcoin mining institutions. And they're backed by BlackRock. With Ted Cruz coming out and saying, he wants to go into Bitcoin mining institutions, Marathon Digital was the only one that came out and commended him for coming inside this sector. I think that Marathon Digital obviously has a hand in some sort of political donations to Ted Cruz. But either way, whatever gets the job done, that's the only way to bring politicians on board is by using this. Politicians don't join anybody for free. They only join them, whatever your cause is. Your cause could be, saving people from cancer, saving people from tumors, saving people from a massive illness, or trying to do cryptocurrencies. Whatever your cause is, no politician cares about it. Unless you involve donations, then politicians will come in through the windows, the doors, and everywhere and sign their names up for any sort of political donations. They're all on board, whatever your cause is. So that's essentially what's going on with Ted Cruz, but whatever gets the job done, gets the job done. Now, Ark Invest. Ark Invest and 21 shares dissolves spot Ethereum ETF partnership. Apparently, Ark Invest and 21 shares are walking their separate paths. When it comes to Ethereum ETFs, they have decided to not go ahead with Ethereum ETFs, which is incredibly odd because Ark Invest and 21 shares, their Ethereum ETF, was greenlighted by the SEC. Obviously, the S1 filings are going on now, or have on Friday, but they were greenlighted. So this odd maneuver of Ark Invest and 21 shares walking away from their ETF opportunity makes no sense. Actually raises quite a lot of questions on were they going to get rejected? Is that why they're walking away from each other on the Ethereum ETFs? But we'll go through that as well. But before we go through that news, let's go inside the comment section. Do you think I already read that one. Miles, I already read that one as well. I think he bought 3 in Texas, Ted Cruz. He bought 3 in Texas. Do you think Biden will veto the Fit 21 too? Do I think Joe Biden is going to be vetoing the Fit 21 Act because he vetoed the SAB 121 Act? There's a possibility of Joe Biden vetoing that act too. But again, if the House majority vote comes in, they can overrule Biden's veto. Everybody inside the crypto space thinks that this whole Biden veto situation is pretty much case closed. It's not case closed in any sort of a way. Even if Biden does veto it, which he has for the SAB 121, the House majority vote 2/3 can still overturn Biden's veto. So if Biden decides to veto even the Fit 21 Act, for example, later on, if the House majority vote comes in 2/3, they can still overturn the veto that Biden did. So that's still a possibility. So even if he does veto it, it can be overturned if the House wants it to. And with enough essentially political donations, any rule can be overturned. I think so. Yeah, if he does, it can be overturned. The crypto I brought was for all my family, and we all keep it in the same wallet. So, can we all cash some out individually on exchanges, which could break the capital gains tax amount to be paid? Yes, it will. If you sell your cryptocurrencies, you're paying taxes. Always remember that. Later on, DMM Bitcoin were hacked for $300 million. They are going to refund money back to customers. Yeah, I shared that news yesterday regarding DMM, the Japanese platform that essentially was hacked. About $306 million they were hacked for, roughly. Yeah, they are going to be refunding everyone, pretty much. Money talks and BS walks, which is pretty much facts. Yeah, when it comes to politicians, as I said, it doesn't matter if your cause is to save people from cancer, to save people from Alzheimer's disease, to save people from a massive disease, or to to bring cryptocurrency regulations. Politicians don't care about anybody's cause. If you involve political donations, politicians will sign up no matter what your cause is, and they'll come through the doors and windows to sign up for it. But yeah, that's what was going on with Ted Cruz. But yes, facts. Money talks and BS walks, pretty much. Not to break, I meant lower capital gains. Depends on how long you held the phone. It depends on your jurisdiction. Sorry, late on tonight, Miles. I hope I've not missed too much. Addy, good to see you. How you doing? We went through two news so far. One regarding Joe Biden vetoing a bill which can be overturned by the House Majority rule. House majority still, two majority third of the votes come in. It can overturn Joe Biden's veto can be overturned still. Regarding two-thirds of the House majority votes is what we talked about, and then we also talked about Ted Cruz getting involved in Bitcoin mining issues. That's what we talked about so far. And the next news to go through is regarding Ark Invest and 21 shares. So, Ark Invest and 21 shares have dissolved their spot Ethereum ETF partnership. We're going to go through maybe on possibility of why they did this. 21 shares has revised its application for an Ethereum spot ETF, renaming it from Ark 21 shares Ethereum ETF to 21 shares Core Ethereum ETF. Furthermore, Ark Invest has decided to terminate its collaboration with 21 shares, stepping away from the involvement with the ETF, regarding the Ethereum ETF. The updated Form S1 indicates no changes to the fee structure, despite acknowledging Ethereum's significant potential and long-term value. A representative from Ark Invest stated that the firm will not move forward with an Ethereum ETF. The representative cited a strategic reassessment of its investment plans. Notably, the dissolution decision does not affect the continued cooperation between 21 shares and Ark Invest on other ventures, such as the Ark 21 shares Bitcoin ETF that launched earlier this year. So they're still holding their contracts together with the Bitcoin ETF they have, but they want to go separate ways on the Ethereum ETF, apparently. Collaborations and product offerings. Previously, in their partnership, 21 shares was the promoter of the ETF, with Delaware Trust Company acting as a trustee. Coinbase Custody Trust Company managed to secure holdings of the underlying Ether asset, while Ark Invest Management functioned as a sub-advisor focusing on market shares to investors. In addition to the Bitcoin and Ethereum futures, the partnership also introduced Ark 21 shares Blockchain and Digital Economy Innovation ETF, designed to invest in public equities of companies within the blockchain sector. According to 21 shares, this ETF offers investors comprehensive exposure to the growth of blockchain technology, recent developments, and future prospects. Ark Invest and 21 shares modified their spot Ether ETF proposal, eliminating plans to stake a portion of their funds and assets through third-party providers. Their filings had mentioned that 21 shares expected to earn ETH from staking, intending to classify these rewards as fund-generated income instead. Ark Invest and 21 shares filed an application for their spot Ethereum ETF, aiming to provide a direct exposure to Ether and list their funds on the CBO BZ exchange, utilizing the CME's, essentially Chicago's exchange, Ether dollar reference rate, and New York variant. Recently, the US Securities Exchange Commission approved the 19B4 forms for the 8 Ethereum ETFs. However, issuers still need their S1 statements to become effective before trading can essentially commence. There are predictions from some quarters that the spot Ether trading could be launched late June. So this month, and late June is when we should be expecting the Ether ETFs to open their doors. But very, very odd on essentially 21 very, very odd on 21 shares and Ark Invest walking their separate paths when it comes to their Ethereum ETF, but still maintaining their partnership on Bitcoin ETFs. Now, the next news to go through on tonight's live show is Google and Magic Leap. Google is about to be jumping into the metaverse space. Now, Google has an immense list of partnerships with blockchain projects that actually have relevance to the metaverse space. In terms of AI or AI chips or actual metaverse projects, Google has a lot of partnerships inside the blockchain space, a lot. And they're getting ready to enter the metaverse. Does that mean, metaverse projects could be coming on the rise maybe later on? We'll go through it. Evening Miles and CMF. Manny, good to see you. How you doing? Have a look at BTC chart. A 1 hour candle looks so weird. Moving it straight line is funny. Straight line is funny. Now, Google and Magic Leap. Google and Magic Leap partner up to make metaverse goggles despite past flops. What it means by that is Google and Magic Leap did get involved in the whole metaverse space, in the AR and XR space in the past. It didn't really go well for Google regarding joining the metaverse. It actually flopped in the whole idea. The same way the Apple headsets also flopped. They didn't get their sale numbers they wanted. Apple never got the sale records they wanted, and Google never got that much into the metaverse either because their idea flopped. However, Google is about to be re-entering the metaverse. Magic Leap recently announced a multi-facade strategic, essentially technology partnership with Google to develop a new extended reality technologies. The partnership marks what could be considered an odd pairing in the tech world, and essentially Google recently trimmed down its aggregated and extended reality teams. They're essentially AR and XR teams, and Magic Leap is the creator of one of the field's biggest flops. Still, as this news could indicate further competition for Apple and Meta when it comes to the metaverse hardware and experiences, it very well could bode well for the metaverse as a whole, with Google now getting involved. This partnership accelerates the transformative power of AR by combining our extensive optics capabilities with Google's technology to continue to advance immersive experiences to the developer ecosystem and for customers. We are looking forward to expanding the potential of XR, blending the physical world with valuable and relevant solutions is essentially what Google gave out. It was a speech that they gave out. The press release doesn't describe any actual products or announce any potential services, but it's possible that this could indicate a new headset fit for AR and XR, and as such, some much needed competition for the current market leaders in Meta and Apple. As The Verge Sean pointed out that in a recent published article, it's unclear exactly what Google is getting from the deal. Its ability to create bespoke hardware is evident in its suite of in-house products, ranging from the Pixel smartphones all the way to its all-reviewed smart speakers and so on. But when it comes to AR and XR headsets and goggles, Magic Leap and Google's individual efforts in Magic Leap and Google Glass headsets, respectfully, has been the most notable of their failures. If anybody remembers Google Glass, if you don't remember, you're probably too young to remember, but Google Glass was the first thing we ever had of this living in this virtual reality situation. It was a very poor idea of it, but it was a very bad spectacle. Like, normal glasses, for example, with the lens not being there and a small tiny screen, was the first idea of living this virtual world reality, let's say, in some sort of oddly way, which was a complete big flop for Google. But that company and Google are coming back, and they're going to be aiming for the metaverse. So they speculated that the partnership could be a result of Magic Leap holding a pattern or methodology that Google converts. But it's also possible that Google doesn't want to spin up a new AR and XR unit after January's layoffs and fall behind its biggest competitors. Its biggest competitors essentially were, Meta. Meta is one of the biggest, I would have to say, regarding this whole virtual reality situation. I mean, Apple does have the Apple goggle situation going on as well, but their sales were horrendous, according to the data. Meta is selling more due to the lower prices as well. But yeah, Google is about to be getting involved in the metaverse once again with the same company they flopped the first time round, but they're coming back apparently stronger than ever. And Google has a huge list of partnerships inside the blockchain space that actually do metaverse projects and AI chips and so on. So Google can, pretty much do well. And some of those projects that are partnered with Google in the blockchain space could do well. Not all of them, but maybe some of them can do well for themselves because of this massive partnership, because of this launch that's going to be coming on later on. Now, Ripple is the next news we're going to be going through. We're going to be moving off from the Google news to go to the Ripple news now. Ripple might float a potential IPO outside of the United States. Since Joe Biden looks like he's going to be the next president again, because they're doing everything in their power to remove Trump from any position. Ripple is thinking about doing an IPO. Maybe it was a possibility outside the United States. We'll go through that now as well. But before we go through that, let's inside the comment section first. Even about the CMF money, good to see you. How you doing? Have a look. I already read that. Ada Cardano partners with Google. I recall that from recent announcement by Charles Hodgkin. Leroy, good to see you. How you doing, Leroy? How you been? Thank you for the update as well. They would only need 44 to 45 votes to overturn the veto to get 2 to thirds when I do the math. Let's go, Harry, for doing the math. Now, Ripple. Ripple might float a potential IPO outside of the United States. Ripple is allegedly considering organizing a potential initial public offering IPO outside of the United States. Brad, its CEO, hinted at the possibility during an interview at the 2024 Consensus Conference hosted by CoinDesk. So this CoinDesk event that I've been talking about this few days, where all of these people that attended, executives and directors and politicians and SEC members and CFTC members, they all attended this, and every single one they gave a speech. And these past few days I've been coming out with what they said one by one. So Brad said maybe there's a possibility of an IPO situation outside the United States. So to the interviewer's question about Ripple's plan for an IPO, Brad clearly stated that it isn't a priority at the moment and it has no sense to launch the offerings inside the United States, which is an indication that there could be a possibility of an IPO outside of the United States. Noteworthy, the crypto payment company and the SEC are not exactly in a good place at the moment, especially not after the judge's ruling that's still going on. We still don't know what the verdict is so far. And for more than 3 years, the SEC has insisted that XRP was a security, and hence it stated that Ripple was involved in sales of unregistered securities. And Judge Torres's July 13th ruling restored calm to the matter. But we still need more of a confirmation where this case is done, and any fees that are paid for it to be case closed. The regulator tried to appeal the judge's decision, but met with roadblocks. The case is still ongoing, but Stewart, Ripple's Labs and chief legal officer, believes strongly that the case will end this year. It is true. Ripple Labs' own lawyer, Stewart, has said that he strongly believes that this case between Ripple and SEC will come to an end this year. That's an opinion that's coming from Stewart, who essentially is Ripple Labs' chief legal officer. He also believes that this case will come to an end this year. It's not going to be continuing on to 2025, even according to him. Ripple pushed business to other jurisdictions outside the US. This move to take the IPO outside of the jurisdictions of the United States is not the first time that Ripple has extended its business outside of the United States. And to the significant extent, the regulatory pattern of authorities in the region has essentially contributed to this stance. Ripple has authorization and approval to operate its businesses in regions like Singapore and Ireland, which is true. Last year, the firm was specially granted a major payments institution, an MPI license from the Monetary Authority of Singapore, MAS, which is true. Ripple does have a license from Singapore to be able to operate, and that's where they've been selling most of their XRP or all of their XRP since they changed the laws of how they sell XRP, and they sell it through Singapore, which again doesn't fall on the United States. So is there a possibility of Ripple maybe launching an IPO outside the United States, maybe in Singapore, where they have a lot more lenientness? Could be a possibility. You never know. The other possibility is Joe Biden doesn't become president. Now, the next news is Franklin Templeton. Franklin Templeton embraces a long-term strategy with SEC aimed changing regulatory landscape. So long-term strategy is what Franklin Templeton is talking about with the SEC still in play. But yeah, if Joe Biden doesn't become president, somebody else does, things can go much more smoother. But either way, Ripple versus SEC, this case will end this year no matter what. Yeah, essentially it's been my perspective for a long time as well, that this year this case will end no matter what, because there's nothing to go on. They can't stretch this case any longer. Now, Franklin Templeton embraces the long-term strategy with SEC. Financial innovators are taking a long-term approach with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. the long-term approach, which Franklin Templeton's head of digital assets, Roger Baston, deems appropriate. The SEC, like a lot of regulatory bodies, likes to rely on legal precedents. Those precedents are being set in courts of law oftentimes, so this is just the process we're engaged in, Baston told Cointelegraph at the conference event. Despite skepticism about the SEC's open door policy, and what it means by the SEC's open door policy is the SEC says to all crypto platforms, welcome, come to the SEC, open arms, and when they go to the SEC, they get sued instead of getting regulated. So, despite the skepticism about the SEC's open door policy, Baston viewed the agency's actions as protecting the economy and manageable. We wouldn't be in the business for 76 years, the business of trust, if we didn't have some discipline and persistence and collaborative behavior with the global regulators we face. In other words, he's trying to say for the past 76 years, if the SEC wasn't strict enough, then Wall Street would have been an absolute chaos. Which makes sense on the topics of, everybody's seen Wolf of Wall Street, but obviously on a major scale. Baston noted that things are evolving at the SEC comparing to this last year. We've been pleasantly engaged with the SEC and we're excited as they shift and change their tone, he said. Shift and change. I haven't seen much change, but the tone is still there. Franklin Templeton launched this Franklin On-Chain US Government Money Fund. Now, this is the part where it gets slightly interesting with Franklin Templeton and the SEC. Apparently, Franklin Templeton and the SEC have been working together in some sort of a way for over 5 years now. So, on blockchain especially, Franklin Templeton launched its Franklin On-Chain US Government Money Fund, the Benji, in 2023. But the journey took nearly 5 years, involving educating the SEC on blockchain technology's role in mutual funds. So apparently Franklin Templeton and the SEC have been working together for 5 years, and Franklin Templeton has been teaching the SEC about blockchain technology for 5 years. And all of this has been revealed on a panel right now. Baston likened the tokenized money funds to stablecoins. The saver provides money to the operators who invest it and returns the principals while keeping the profits from the investments. Banks and money funds have existed side by side for multiple decades, Franklin Templeton said. They went on to say, I think this is the same constructive that this is likely to move forward. Franklin Templeton is optimistic about the cryptocurrencies, according to Baston. We believe in the technologies, and therefore we believe the crypto tokens, properly structured, represent value for these technologies. In other words, cryptocurrencies that have utility is what we believe in, is what Franklin Templeton is saying. Cryptocurrencies that have no utility, we do not believe in them. He compared crypto's significance to investment portfolios, to that of technology stocks 30 years ago. So Franklin Templeton, Baston, is essentially saying that cryptocurrencies represent what technology stocks were about 30 years ago inside the stock market. Is the resemblance of cryptocurrencies entering the stock market with the whole ETF space and so on, and also cryptos that have utility. He's saying the idea is very new, the same way technology stocks were inside the stock market, which makes a lot of sense, and it is true up to a certain extent. But the idea where he was going on talking about, now we know why Franklin Templeton, for some orderly reason, was saying that the SEC is doing their job well. The reason why Franklin Templeton on a panel said that the SEC is doing their job well is because Franklin Templeton is in hands with essentially the SEC. For over 5 years, they've been having conversations back to back and sitting together and, breaking bread, let's say, talking about blockchain technology. Obviously, Franklin Templeton is going to be talking good about the SEC and also making up lies about how the SEC is changing, which they're not. The SEC is still suing everybody. There's no change whatsoever. And Gary Gensler still goes around as his word is gospel no matter what. Even the judges don't matter. Even the words from the judges don't matter, or Congress doesn't matter to Gary Gensler, and it's only Gary Gensler's word. So, no, the SEC isn't changing, and neither is Gary Gensler by the looks of it. So I don't know what Franklin Templeton is on about there, but we can see why they're so, lenient and absolutely spewing lies in front of an absolute massive audience that Gary Gensler and the SEC are doing their jobs. They're really not. If anybody has two eyes and a brain cell, they can read or see that he's really not doing his job properly. But we know why you said that, Franklin Templeton, because you're breaking bread with them for over 5 years. So obviously you don't want to talk bad about them. Because you don't want the SEC on your case. And on the part where he said essentially that, on the part where he also said the SEC is changing and so on, Hester Pierce is also an SEC member. She came out and said that on the same panel that Franklin Templeton was saying the SEC is doing a good job, Hester Pierce is also an SEC member. She came out and said, no, the SEC is not doing a good job, and neither is Gary Gensler. They're stifling innovation. So even according to the SEC, they are stifling innovation, according to the SEC themselves. But Franklin Templeton says the SEC is doing a good job. Of course they are. Now, Van Eck is the next news to go for on tonight's live show. Van Eck, CEO, essentially regarding Ethereum ETF approvals and a historic crypto change. They were also at the same panel. We'll go through their perspectives as well. But before we go through that, let's go through the comment section. First, there's a lot of things going to happen around the world, depending on this election coming out. Yes, and the UK come out too. Yes, that's true. Regarding the United States elections, a lot of things are going to be impacted, without a doubt. Whoever it's going to be, whoever the United States president is going to be. Is it going to be, Sleepy Joe once again, if he makes it? Is it going to be Trump from prison? They're trying everything they can to put Trump in prison. Or is it going to be the third one, the third man out, which is Kennedy? I don't know if he's got any votes or not, but yeah, is it going to be Trump? Is it going to be Kennedy? Or is it going to be Sleepy Joe, the next president of the United States? Whoever it's going to be, they're definitely going to have implications, not just on the United States market space, but the entire world. And yes, what JP says, facts, as the same way the International Monetary Fund and the Bank of International Settlements said, if the American markets sneeze, the global market catches a cold, is what the International Monetary Fund said, which is facts, absolute facts. I think Michelle Obama is going to come in at any time. You think Michelle Obama is going to come at any time? I mean, that's going to be... is anybody going to vote for her? Is another thing. Just out of curiosity. Now, I'm not in the United States, so obviously I can't vote for anybody. Anybody that's watching this from the United States right now, so CMF members or anyone watching this from the United States and so on, who would you vote for if, for some oddly reason, you can't choose Trump? If you can't choose Trump, who are you voting for? Are you going to be voting for Joe? Are you going to be voting for Kennedy? Or are you going to choose not to vote and you don't care who it's going to be? Just out of curiosity. If you can't vote for Trump, just out of curiosity, because for some oddly reason they put Trump in a maximum sentence prison on a case he never committed. Just out of curiosity, if you can't choose Trump, who would you choose? Would you choose Kennedy, Sleepy Joe, or nobody? Just in case they put Trump in maximum sentence prison for no apparent reason. I think they will put her in Kamala place Joe Bino when he stepped on. She'll become president. If Joe Biden couldn't make it, yeah, then she'll become president. Maybe. Kennedy. Troy said he would choose Kennedy. Okay. The options are not great. Feel sorry for the US. The options are not great. I mean, Shelly has a good point. Vivek. Okay, Kerry said you will vote for Vivek. Okay, not Sleepy Joe, Gina said. Fair enough. I would vote for Arnold. He will be back. Let's go. Okay, so the options are going for Kennedy, Vivek, and not Joe. No one. JP said no one. Anybody else, even if you're not from the United States, just out of perspective, even if you're not from the United States, who are you voting for? Sleepy, even if you're not from the United States now. Sleepy Joe, Kennedy, or nobody. Just pretend imagine if you were from the United States, who's your options? Because whoever is from the United States is definitely going to be changing the entire world. I'm driving and voice texting. Driving and voice texting. And JP said no one, which is a fair point. I think a lot of people will probably choose no one, or Kennedy, or Vivek. Ian said Kennedy. They are all fools, just like the fools in the UK. Yeah, I mean the UK is even worse. You know, inside United Kingdom, we also have a vote coming up as well. Neither option is a good option. Doesn't matter anyway. Yep, whatever's going to happen is going to happen, no matter what. So, I just want to know where people stand. Now, the next news on tonight's live show. VanEck. VanEck CEO hails essentially Ethereum ETF's approval as historic crypto shift. The US Securities Exchange Commission, SEC, regarding their approval of the Ethereum ETF that recently happened, marks a pivotal moment in the cryptocurrency markets. VanEck CEO, VanEck John, described this regulatory change as one of the most significant events in his career regarding Ethereum ETFs being approved. It's coming out from VanEck. The SEC's move is expected to bring greater clarity and investor interest in cryptocurrencies. VanEck's CEO celebrates regarding the SEC Ethereum ETF approval so far. VanEck was the first to apply to the SEC for permission to list an Ethereum ETF. With the approval granted, VanEck is now poised to bring this product to the market. Although the timeline for this launch remains uncertain, however, it is aiming for June times. This regulatory milestone signifies a major shift in the crypto landscape. This is really one of the most amazing things that I've seen in my career with respect to securities regulations, is what VanEck told CNBC regarding ETF Edge this week. He emphasized the importance of the SEC's decision, noting the risk of the SEC losing jurisdiction over digital assets. The approval of Ethereum ETFs reflects a broader trend towards clearer regulation and increased investor confidence in crypto. The approval has sparked significant interest in Ethereum. VanEck believes the development indicates a broader narrative of growing cryptocurrency acceptance and regulatory clarity. In a statement, VanEck highlighted the evidence clearly shows that Ethereum is a decentralized commodity, not a security, according to VanEck as well. Matt Hugin, Chief Investment Officer of Bitwise, echoed this sentiment, expecting a substantial investor inflows into these ETFs. He predicted that these inflows would drive Ethereum's value beyond its previous peak of about $4,900 in November 2021. Although Hugin acknowledged that Ethereum ETFs might not match Bitcoin ETFs in inflows, he still anticipates a significant demand regarding them still. Bitcoin ETFs saw about $12 billion in inflows within the first 4 months. Hugin expects Ethereum ETFs to achieve less than half of that, but more than a quarter. FIT21 Act that recently came into authorities, let's say, regarding Congress. Act boosts crypto regulatory frameworks. The passage of the Financial Innovation Technologies for 21st Century Act FIT21 in the House that happened recently regarding supporters of regulatory frameworks for cryptocurrencies. VanEck essentially noted that while the act might not reach the Senate before the upcoming election, it represents a significant step towards regulatory clarity when it comes to politicians, let's say, in the United States. His legislative progress, coupled with the SEC's approval of Ethereum ETFs, suggests a more stable and predictable environment for digital assets. Ether spiked on May 23rd when the SEC approved applications to list Ethereum ETFs, though its value has remained relatively flat since then. This fluctuation underscores the market's anticipation of further regulatory and legislative developments. In other words, the market is still waiting for some sort of major inflows to come in for Ethereum for it to have some sort of lift-off situations. As in, the market is still waiting. All the S1 filings going to be approved by the SEC, or is the SEC going to keep on asking them to be refiled again? Because the SEC has the power and authority to waste time if he wants to on the S1 filings and tell the filers, for example, to file them again because they're missing something or they need to add something and so on. Or they need to remove something is what I meant to say. So the SEC can still waste time on the S1 filings. Are they going to waste time is another question. Probably not if there's political pressure right now going on Gary Gensler. Gary Gensler is going through some sort of political pressure right now, where his authority can be diminished and split in terms of authority of power with the CFTC. So that pressure could put Gary Gensler into, the S1 filings getting fully green lighted. And we have ETF Ethereum this month. Now, the next news to go from tonight's live show is Russia. So there's news coming out regarding Russia, and Russia is about to be making one of their biggest investments into Bitcoin mining industries, which is about $100 million. Russia is about to be investing into $100 million into Bitcoin mining equipment and so on, which shows the growing interest that's happening around the world with the Bitcoin mining industries coming out in Latin America. There's quite a lot of things happening in Latin America, which I've showed on this live show. Every night we've been, talking about how the expansion rate is happening in different jurisdictions, and even governments from the African nations coming through and signing contracts with Marathon Digital to expand on their mining equipments. But also, Russia is about to be doing another investment that I previously revealed in Bitcoin mining in Africa as well, where they're going to be setting up one of the biggest mining industries in Africa. Russia is about to be doing that. But now also news is coming out that Russia is about to be doing about $100 million investment to Bitcoin mining industries in Russia, which we'll go through as well, which is going to expand the adoption rate of Bitcoin, which also puts eyes on the rest of the crypto market. As I've said previously, Bitcoin ETFs isn't just good news for Bitcoin. It's also good news for the rest of the crypto space because it puts eyes on the rest of the crypto space. It grows the adoption in general. Same thing goes with Ethereum ETFs. It puts eyes on the rest of the crypto space as well. So it's a positive sign for crypto in general, not just for Bitcoin or Ethereum in a sense. But before we go through that news, let's consider the comment section. Trump, first libertarian candidate. Okay, let's consider the comment section first before we go through that. I live in the US. We are doomed. Kennedy is the least of the worst. Fair enough, Brian. Kennedy is the least of the worst. Anyone but Biden. Also fair enough, Gino. Trump's health's not good, so he's out. Biden will be in a wheelchair, so Camilla will take over after. I don't know. Fair enough. Trump without hesitation is what Leroy said. Fair enough. Why do you think Sunak has called a July election? That's a good point. And regarding our own elections inside the United Kingdom, Sunak, which is the Prime Minister we have right now, has called for a July election out of nowhere. He's probably trying to grapple on and stay inside the United Kingdom in some sort of a way, maybe get votes in a very oddly time. Trump's first libertarian candidate, fair enough. In 1980, my vote counted to abolish the Federal Reserve, SEC, IRS for Ed Clark, Libertarian president, but he was censored from presidential debates with President Carter and Ronald Reagan. Why do you think Biden did not approach? Why do you think Biden did not approach? Oh, sorry. Why do you think Biden did that approach? Biden going after essentially trying to silence Trump. Because there's two ways. Either stifle your competition or get rid of your competition. Biden chose the option of stifling his competition. They brought up a case about 7 years ago to trap the man. So there's two ways to get rid of competition. Either become the best version so you can compete with your competition, or, get rid of your competition is what the route Biden has decided to choose. Miles, is it not true that there are only 2 more million left to mine on BTC as the rest of all in circulation? Yeah, well, there's 21, yeah. A bit late for Russia to come in to mine BTC now. Regarding, you might think it's a bit late for Russia to come in to mine BTC, but you have to think about one thing, which is, even if you maintain the Bitcoin network, you're going to be making money on the Bitcoin fees. So it's not just about they're coming in essentially for the Bitcoin, the coin itself, essentially mining the coin itself, but they're also coming in for maintaining the network. The Bitcoin fees pays out quite well, especially if more things get developed on Bitcoin's chain. You know, MicroStrategy, MSTR, Michael Saylor, he's turned his entire company, his billion-dollar company, into a Bitcoin company where he's developing new things to be able to release on Bitcoin's network. And all these, you know, things of trying to make Bitcoin's network faster and cheaper and so on from MicroStrategy's side, and you know, trying to produce some things on it. If it works out well, they can make a lot of money on the fees they earn from Bitcoin mining. So just by maintaining a network, you're getting paid out on fees, and the fees could be good money. But depends on your operational scale. $100 million operational scale makes sense. A bit late for if Biden elected, he might not make it to the next 4 years. Or ain't in advance. Fair enough. No against. Oh, you mean why is Biden against crypto? It's because the banking association. The banking association is with Joe Biden. The bankers don't like the idea of crypto too much. Some bankers don't like it. They will like it afterwards when they have control over it. They'll be all over it. It's just now they need more control before they bring in full regulations. BTC and crypto are still infant stages at the moment. Very true as well. Now, Russia. Russia eyes a building $100 million Bitcoin mining essentially a mining center. Russia is also building a massive, and I'm talking about an absolute massive of a whopper of a data center. Russia's building two things. One, $100 million Bitcoin mining institution. Two, a massive data center. So, fintech company Interpol's Tech, controlled by the former Minister of Communications of Russia, is set to build the largest Bitcoin mining center in Russia, worth around $100 million. The Republic of Tatarstan is gearing up to build Russia's largest Bitcoin mining infrastructure, valued at around $100 million. According to the local news reporters, citing Roman Shey, a deputy prime minister of Tatarstan. Speaking at a crypto forum in Kazan, Shea said the project will be undertaken by Interpol's Tech, a fintech company controlled by Nikolai. Nikolai is Russia's ex-communications and prime minister, and press minister, sorry. Although specific details about the construction timeline and the list of investors haven't been disclosed, why would they? Their investors are going to be obviously people who don't want to be on paper regarding Russia. And Shea said that the facility's projected hash rate will be 3 exahash rates per second, potentially making it one of the key players in the global crypto mining industry. Despite the ambitious movements, Russia still doesn't have a clear regulatory regime for crypto miners. In late April, Russia's lawmakers unveiled a new version of the bill aimed at regulating the crypto mining markets in the country. And according to Anatola, one of the bill's authors, the bill could come into effect as early as September this year, though this far from the first time Russia's lawmakers are trying to build a regulatory regime for crypto miners. Russia has had some rules back and forth regarding crypto mining industries. So far, they have Bitcoin mining industry. So far, they have regulations coming out for their CBDCs, not so much for their crypto mining. The last time Russia spoke about crypto mining, they said that they want to set up a crypto mining industry outside of Russia. They're willing to spend, tens of or hundreds of millions of dollars outside of Russia, and they chose an African country to set up a mining industry that was Russia's. And now, oddly enough, there's another investment going on that's going to be happening in Russia. They're going to be building one of the most advanced Bitcoin mining institutions also in Russia as well, worth up to $100 million to compete with the global mining companies out there. one of them being Marathon Digital, that's backed by BlackRock. But yeah, Russia has came up with some laws regarding crypto mining industries, but they're most likely going to come up with the rest of them probably the same timing they do decide to launch on this project. But again, it's it's a bullish sign for Bitcoin and a bullish sign for crypto, with more investments coming in from governments for adapting into this area. That's going to bring more rise on crypto in general, not just for Bitcoin. Now, Robert Kennedy Jr. made a speech about crypto, and he said crypto is freedom and transparency. He said all of this at a Consensus 2024 event alongside Franklin Templeton people, alongside BlackRock people, alongside CFTC members, and alongside SEC members, and also Brad, Ripple CEO, was there. Quite a lot of executives, directors, and government people were there. And Robert Kennedy decided to make this speech as well, that crypto is freedom and transparency. And we'll go through what he exactly said and discuss and so on. But before we do that, let's go to the comment section first. By the way, if you have any comments and you're watching this for the first time ever as well, put your comments down to the comment section. I'm reading everybody's comments one by one, as I always do. If you're watching this on YouTube or X, because we're live on both of them, as usual. So, the bankers want CBDCs first. They can get into crypto when it's late for everyone else, pretty much. BlackRock, as you see how funny it is, Camel? BlackRock doesn't want to be in paper as well. BlackRock doesn't want to be on paper as well. It's a fair point. Chain fusion for Bitcoin. Ethereum and USDC turns these assets into legit altcoins and DeFi currencies. Yes, that's also a point as well. Leroy, thank you for the update as well. Thank you for the facts and the statements as usual. Let's go. Robert Kennedy Jr. at Consensus 2024. Crypto is freedom, transparency. U.S. independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said transactional freedom through crypto must be protected to ensure economic growth. Commenting on Donald Trump's U-turn on crypto policy, Kennedy Jr. lauded the revamped view and implored essentially President Joe Biden to side with innovation in America by supporting crypto. He said, "I'm not going to question if it was political decision. I'm happy he did it, and I hope President Biden does too," said the politician. What he's essentially talking about is how Trump used to be against cryptocurrencies, but then now likes the idea of cryptocurrencies. And he said, I hope Kennedy is saying all these things. So Kennedy says, I'm happy that Trump has decided to come on board with cryptocurrencies. And he said, I hope Joe Biden, comes on the idea of innovation in cryptocurrencies as well. Not my words, Kennedy's words. Kennedy Jr. abstained from commenting on Trump's conviction as industry observers pondered on how the court rulings might impact the Republican pro-crypto candidate. Well, we know now that Trump, even if he does go to jail or some sort of prison for even a small second, he still wants to become president even from prison. He's definitely going to be a shot caller. Now, some say Trump is not going to be going on to prison. He's going to be paying a fine, which makes sense due to the crime he's committed. Apparently, a fine is what you're supposed to get on that particular crime. Some say he might get house arrest, and some say he might go in for 4 months and then go on probation or house arrest. Either way, his case just makes no sense, is the bottom line. The presidential candidate added that more figures like the SEC chairman, Gary Gensler, should recognize and encourage decentralized currencies like Bitcoin, which offer a solution to diluted monetary instruments, currently overshadowing the US capital ecosystem. Blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies can power a democratic, essentially market economy where investors and individuals control the wealth outside the government interferences, per Kennedy Jr.'s comments at the Consensus 2024 panel event. He said, the way forward, Kennedy Jr. opinionated that the governments must guarantee digital asset ownership moving forward, a sovereign wallet control, and consumer protection from scams like FTX by creating a clear crypto regulatory framework. In other words, the SEC needs to hurry up on regulations. In a very simple way. According to the politicians, crypto should also be treated as currency and exempt from capital gains. Yes, please. Fair digital asset policies means people have a choice as to whether they buy these virtual currencies or use them to settle purchases. Kennedy Jr.'s speech strengthened remarks from experts like CoinShare chief strategy officer and A16Z crypto founder Chris Dixon, who said the crypto voting bloc may be crucial to this year's presidential elections, which it is. Crypto is one of the biggest things going into this election right now. A poll that was recently done found that over 44% of voters either own digital assets or factor blockchain policies when deciding between candidates. That is a massive number. That is a massive number. 44% of voters inside the United States want a president who is in favor of cryptocurrencies. Good. Regardless of the US electoral outcomes, it's uncertain if crypto regulations will pass this year. Congressman Tom Hemmer told Congress attendees that the end of the year Senate session might be the best chance for essentially digital asset rules before next year. So, can we get some regulations coming in this year before we go into this whole massive presidential election situation? I think there's a possibility of the regulations coming through. Even if they don't come through a lot by the United States, the rest of the world is going to move on with their regulations. Obviously, we need the United States regulations to come through as well. They are one massive global market. To be fair, we do need their green light as well for a very good profit margin for all of us inside the crypto space. We need the US markets. Let's just be honest with ourselves. But 44% of voters being pro crypto, great. Kennedy coming out and saying, he's pro crypto. Crypto is freedom and transparency. It's all true. Yes. Also something I said 2023. But now the next news to go through on tonight's live show is the future of global financial system is tokenization. Also, here's one thing as well. I don't think personally Kennedy is going to become president. Not because, I'm against Kennedy in any sort of a way. Not at all. Again, I'm not inside the United States. I don't have a say. I'm from London, the United Kingdom. So, just a perspective. Anybody that's against, and again, I'm not in favor of CBDCs either. But any president that's against the idea of CBDCs isn't going to become president. Trump is against CBDCs. That was crossing the line. For the World Economic Forum, the World Economic Forum wants CBDCs. The Bank of International Settlements wants CBDCs. The International Monetary Fund wants CBDCs. Trump doesn't want CBDCs, so therefore he makes a bad candidate for moving the United States further on. Kennedy is also against CBDCs. He's against CBDCs and only pro crypto, which I prefer. Obviously, cryptocurrencies, yes, all the way. CBDCs are bad. Facts. There's no way around it. CBDCs are controllable assets. Everybody knows this. If you don't know this, you should know this. CBDCs are the worst idea ever, and cryptocurrencies are the best, outcome. But it's not what I want, and it's not what you want, and it's not even what the presidents want. It's what the World Economic Forum wants. It's what the Bank of International Settlements wants. It's what the International Monetary Fund. Their opinion matters. My opinion doesn't matter. Your opinion doesn't matter. Even the politicians doesn't matter. The prime ministers doesn't matter. The presidents, it doesn't matter. They can replace presidents, which I think we've all seen that with our own two eyes, multiple times. They can replace politicians. They can replace even prime ministers. None of that matters. It's about moving forward with their agenda. And the World Economic Forum's agenda, most powerful people on this planet, is control, CBDCs. So is the Bank of International Settlements, 63 centralized banks, including G20 countries, even the BRICS countries that are against the US dollar, are all Bank of International Settlements members. So is the United States, because they're G20 countries, and the International Monetary Fund. So this is why I think, Trump against their agenda, which, makes him a bad candidate for them. Kennedy is also against their agenda, which makes him a bad candidate for them as well. Joe Biden, well, he's Sleazy Joe. Some call him Sleepy Joe. I also call him Sleepy Joe, but he's also Sleazy Joe. And Sleazy Joe will do anything they tell him to do. Now, the next news to go through regarding the future of global financial systems is tokenization. But before we do that, let's go inside the comment section regarding tokenizations. Russia would benefit from utopia that doesn't rely on centralized computing, cloud, and exposures to cybercrime. Censorship and hackable bridges with infinity scalability, excellent for AGI and AI. True. Let's go, Leo. True, very true. I see it so clearly, brother. Let's go, Kamal. Is Rishi out, Miles? Rishi Sunak is still the prime minister, but is he going to be out? By the looks of it, yeah. Labour is getting the majority vote. I mean, like, will he not get back in? Well, oddly enough, Labour is winning. But let's see how things play out. Ada Cardano founder endorsed, he did, yes he did. What Leroy is saying is facts. Cardano's founder did endorse Kennedy Jr. Trump spoke both ways about CBDCs, he did. Trump right now is heavily against CBDCs, which is the biggest thing, it's the biggest thing against them right now is him being against CBDCs. A lot of people don't realize it. People who are in the crypto sector and people who are apologies about that. People who are against the crypto sector and people who are in the crypto sector still don't know that CBDCs play a vital role in the world shifting into a digital era. And that if anybody's against CBDCs, it's a losing battle. Absolute losing battle. People think, they're trying to remove Trump because of other reasons. The main reason is Trump doesn't listen to them. And they don't like that. They want somebody that can listen to them. They want a president that says, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. And Trump isn't the type of president to say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. Trump is more of the type of president that says, I will do what I want to do, which didn't really work out from the first time around. Everybody knows this. And, Sleazy Joe, there's a reason why it's called Sleazy Joe or Sleepy Joe, but Sleazy Joe in this instance. Sleazy Joe will say yes sir, yes ma'am to anybody. He doesn't care. Kennedy, maybe he can go the other way or come this way or whatever, but for now he's also against CBDCs. That's the biggest reason they're removing Trump. It's because he doesn't listen to the World Economic Forum. He doesn't listen to the Bank of International Settlements. He doesn't listen to the International Monetary Fund. Obviously, I'm in favor of anybody with freedom of speech, always. I'm in favor of anybody that offers freedom of speech, freedom to say and do what you want, also, lower the tax situation and so on. But yeah, I'm in favor of anybody that does that. But unfortunately, we live in a world where none of that matters. And Trump wants to bring those values back into the world. And they don't like that. So they will do everything they can to stop him. Everybody thinks it's Joe Biden still. Look, it is Joe Biden up to a certain extent as well. But it's not Joe Biden completely stifling Trump's position. It's also, the World Economic Forum. They're against them as well. So is the Bank of International Settlements, and so is the International Monetary Fund. And they are a well-equipped power group that they reach so far in everywhere. And this world wants to, go into a space where it's all about control. They want to shift the world into CBDCs, which is full control. I mean, if you don't know, you can look at China and see what's going on there. With the full control. There's so many documentaries you can watch on China's CBDCs. An immense amount of documentaries you can watch on China's CBDCs. And regarding their social credit system wallets and their study tests and what's been implemented. The whole idea is about shifting into a digital world where there's control. Trump, he doesn't want to do that control path. He wants to give people the freedom of choice, the freedom to say and do whatever you want. And they don't like that. So it might look like it's Biden trying to remove him from his position, But in reality, it's powers above Biden. Biden is a nobody. It's the powers that are above Biden. In terms of the World Economic Forum, Bank of International Settlements, and International Monetary Fund. We're shifting into a world that's all about control, and Trump doesn't want that. So, he won't make it too far. And that's the reality of it. And again, I'm all in favor of freedom of choice and freedom of rights and so on. Of course, who isn't? But unfortunately, we live in a world where none of that matters. And we have the illusion of that matters. So while people are too focused on their votes don't matter, so right now, everybody's right now inside the United States is so focused on this and so fixated on this. Where is my vote? My vote doesn't matter and so on. They're trying to remove my president. They're trying to put him in prison. They're trying to put him on house arrest. So while everybody's focused on that, they're just getting more prepared on this whole idea of launching a CBDCs later on, bringing in that control. If people get too out of control inside the United States, then they'll obviously bring that whole martial law situation, which will then bring control, which will be easier for them to what? Implement CBDCs, implement social credit systems, which is something that the World Economic Forum has been working on for 10 years. If people get out of control in the United States, which they will up to a certain extent, let's just be honest. I mean, if they do remove Trump some sort of a way, I mean, they're completely against him now, and you've seen how the voting went regarding him being guilty. Apparently, apparently Trump didn't even get to finish what he wanted to say. They just pleaded guilty to him straight away. You can see how big of a rigged setup this is. And then they're also making it look like a rigged setup because they want to on purpose to make you even boil more. So you get angry and you do something, and so on and so on. Which, they want that. They want the protest. They want people out of control and so on. Because then they can bring in some sort of martial law situation where they bring control. And after bringing control, it's easier for them to implement anything they want regarding CBDCs or social credit systems. But either way you look at it, there's no way out. There's no way out. You sit back, you're going to get CBDCs. You come forward, you're going to get CBDCs. They've pretty much left you no options. Because, in the World Economic Forum, the Bill Gates and Melinda Foundation and the Dutch princess, they discussed it for 10 years. They said for 10 years we've been working on CBDC wallets connecting the social credit systems for 10 years. The Bill Gates Melinda Foundation, the number one person who's known as evil pretty much in this planet. The Bill Gates Melinda Foundation and the Dutch princess have been working on it for over 10 years on CBDC wallets and social credit systems. They revealed this at the World Economic Forum. So if things get out of control and out of hand in the United States due to this Trump situation, which they could do, they can bring in that whole, strict policies of martial laws and so on, bring control, and then after that, it's much more easier for them to implement anything. But if you sit back, they're coming either way regarding CBDCs. If you come forward, they're coming either way regarding CBDCs. It's a losing battle, however you look at it. Now, how you can benefit from that is going for the number one project that's going to be behind CBDCs. There's 24,000 crypto projects. Sadly enough, I mean, it's just the way it is. But there's 24,000 crypto projects. And inside of 24,000 crypto projects, there's a lot of crypto projects doing gaming, which means the competition is quite big. There's a lot of projects doing metaverse, which means the competition is quite big for metaverse. There's a lot of projects doing data. Competition is quite big. There's a lot of projects doing so many AI and so on, which means the competition is quite big as well. But out of 24,000 crypto projects, only one of them is doing CBDCs. Guess which one that is? Which means virtually no competition for Ripple. Ironically. And Ripple has a token called XRP. Could it be that simple? Yes, is the answer, if you're wondering still. It's also what Ripple released on their own website today. Yesterday, actually, I revealed it, and I posted it as well, on how exactly they're going to be using XRP. Ripple said step by step how they're going to be using XRP. And I revealed that yesterday. On their own website, they said it. They said Q&A. So question, answer, step by step of how they're going to be implementing XRP. Got posted on their own website yesterday. And if people are still wondering, is Ripple going to use XRP? Yes. Yes, they are. They posted on their own website yesterday. And I put that inside a Telegram group as well of this live show. So if you want to join the Telegram of this live show as well, it's free. Everything I provide is free source. Don't charge any money whatsoever. I believe education should be free at all times. So, in other words, if they control everything, then Sleazy Joe is getting back in. Pretty much. I don't think Trump is against CBDCs. I know he said he's not, and he said he's not want them. I just think he doesn't want to bring it up yet. There's also that possibility as well. Trump is the person who fired people, so he won't listen to anyone. That's also true as well. Same happening in Iceland with digital IDs. Yes, that's true. A lot of places around the world are introducing digital IDs right now. A lot of places. The deep state as we call it, yeah. Evil Miles 100. Let's go, Shelley. Just before former President JF Kennedy was killed in Texas, he announced he was going to abolish the Federal Reserve. Yes, he did. And how did I go for him? Honestly, Leroy, facts, absolute facts. Shelley, let's go with Ripple's XRP. CBDCs basically is the death by Bongo. Miles, which metaverse projects have utility? Sand. Sand actually has utility. A lot of banks are involved in sand, believe it or not. They actually bought land in sand, and they still own their land. Sand is also implemented in the Japanese education system in a few universities. They're teaching students how to, not Japanese, Hong Kong. They're teaching students how to build on the metaverse using sand. But am I involved in the metaverse now? I'm involved in metaverse projects and so on, but I'm going to get rid of all of them when the prices go up. The only projects I'm always going to keep forever and never sell, just to borrow against, the finance ones, the ones that are going to be actually running the show. I will never sell a crypto project that's going to be running the show, because that'd be a bad mistake. Also, I don't want to pay too much taxes. I was looking into sand yesterday. How ironic. Let's go, Shelley. But it could go, either way as well for sand. So be careful as well. Sand, there is, HSBC Bank and so on. There's quite a lot of banks actually involved in buying land and sand, and also they are implemented into the Hong Kong education system. But it's still a metaverse play. Metaverse is, if it goes bad, the game doesn't get played a lot and so on, it goes south. There's one thing you need to remember, just from perspective. One thing you need to remember regarding gaming projects inside the crypto sector. Okay, so metaverse projects are technically gaming projects. Regarding gaming projects, what you need to remember is things can go south for gaming projects. Because let's just picture for a second. For now, this particular gaming project is big, let's say, inside the crypto sector. The issue with gaming projects is once people lose interest, there's no foundation and no full legs to stand on, is what I always say. At all. So that's one thing you need to always consider about gaming projects or metaverse projects, or even other types of projects. If they don't have full legs and a foundation to stand on, and their user base disappears, there's pretty much no more game left, and the coin becomes useless, and so does the project. For example, everybody was a very simple example. Everybody was interested into GTA 5, for example. When GTA 5 launched, everybody was interested in GTA 5 when it was launched. It was the biggest game ever. And as the years went by, the users in terms of GTA 5 have pretty much disappeared. Nobody's playing GTA 5 anymore, pretty much. I mean, if you are still playing it, grow up. Honestly, grow up if you're still playing GTA. But the users for GTA 5, for where they were at the peak, have went. And that's what can happen to gaming projects inside the crypto space. They can have a massive user base, and then over time, it just goes. Now, on the other hand, this is why I say there are two superior categories inside the crypto space. which is data and the money category. They're the number one categories inside the crypto space, because regarding XRP, XLM, XDC, ACH, and so on, they're going to be used either way. It's not about the popularity of it. It's money. It's going to be a back end. Nobody cares about the popularity. It's about you making payments, which you do 24/7. So that is why the popularity of these projects, XRP, XLM, XDC, ACH, and so on, are never going to go away, because it's money. It spins around the world and nobody cares about it. It's not like GTA 5 or a gaming project or a metaverse project in the crypto space that has a massive user base because everybody's playing it, and then it just goes downwards because nobody's playing anymore. Because you're always going to do payments, which means the user base stays here, never goes here. It always stays here because there's payments happening 24/7 around the world. So this is why I say the number one superior category inside the crypto space will always be the finance category, because it's digital money. It's a back end of money, and money gets used 24/7, and it doesn't matter if the users leave or not, because they're still going to do transactions. Now, the other category that's also superior is data, because no matter what, data storage will still be king as well, and data is the next oil. And it doesn't matter about user base either, because even if it's not storing data for gaming, it's storing data for logistics, it's storing data for AI, it's storing data for companies, it's storing data for social grid systems, it's storing data for something. The two categories always remember is essentially the money category inside the crypto space. Doesn't matter about the user base, it's always going to be used. And the data center, it's always going to be used. The data category and the money category, they'll always be used. The other categories regarding the metaverse category, the user base could be here one day and then here because nobody's playing it anymore. The gaming category inside the crypto space, the user base could be here one day and then it could be here because nobody's playing it anymore. The AI category could be here one day because this AI tool that's came out is the number one AI tool out there. But then another AI tool comes out of nowhere, and then this AI tool user base just goes, and then the other AI tool goes up. You see, the gaming category, the metaverse category, the AI category will always fluctuate because another new AI tool would come out, or a better game would come out, or a better metaverse project will come out. But nobody cares about a better money program, because once the money program has been implemented into the financial system, they're not going to be updating it 24/7 to change companies. They're just going to keep with the one they have for a good 100 years before they change it again. So there'll always be the two number one categories inside the crypto space will always be the money and the data. The money projects and the data projects will always be the two superior categories. Because once those contracts get implemented, they will stay for 100 years, good plus years. But the gaming, metaverse, and AI projects, they can fluctuate on user base. Because there's a better AI project or a better gaming project and a better metaverse project. But once the banks roll out, built on one financial system, they're going to be rolling out for 100 plus years. They're not changing again every week or every month. The financial category will always be superior inside the crypto space for 100 years plus. So will the data category. The other categories, they will fluctuate in user base. Now let's go inside the comment section. So, CBDC, basically. Is there any of the CMF buying FTM? Is what Emon's asking. Was just thinking about Beam and Sand. Everything else is already in finance sector. Beam and Sand, Beam is better. Beam is better because it's a mold of two projects, which has a higher chance of achieving something. For ICP is a very good data project. ICP is all right as well regarding the data project. AR is very good regarding the data project. AR is very good as well. Emon, I have a bag of it a while now, is what JP is saying. Which are data projects? What Shelly has put inside the comment section. Hot is good, AR is good, File is good, ICP is there as well, but AR is better than ICP in my opinion. File is good as well, so is Hot. There was an article on the topic of Hot. There was an article that said in 2025, HOT will be $1 per. By the way, HOT is a legitimate project. It's been in the crypto space for years, and they've been in development for years as well. There's an article that suggested that based on the equation of maths and how much money is going to be implemented in terms of regulations and corporations coming inside 2025, which a lot have came in 2020. 2024, right now, we have 937 corporations inside the corporate sector. 937 corporations, according to their filings from the SEC. By 2025, we're going to have a lot more corporations, a lot more regulations as well. Every year, we're going to have more corporations, more regulations, and more adoption rate, obviously. The higher and higher we go in terms of utility. So that's why the legitimate projects will do better and better every year, because the utility will, factor in. Regarding HOT, regarding the study test that they did, they said in 2024, because of so many regulations and so many corporations in the play, HOT has a possibility of reaching $1 per token. Now, HOT is a legitimate project. It's, again, years in developments. HOT has a possibility of reaching $1. HOT reached about, I think, 2 cents, 3 cents, 4 cents, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 2-3 cents in the past bull run. When it reaches $1, just from perspective, $1,000, $1,500 in HOT is about 1 million tokens right now. Again, this is not financial advice in any sort of a way, and it's for 2025 onwards. But $1,500 is about, if I'm not mistaken, $1,500 is about 1 million tokens in HOT. And if it reaches $1 by 2025, or reaches even anywhere near $1, it did reach about 2 to 3 cents in the last bull. But let's see. Again, not financial advice at all. It might not even go anywhere near that number. Who knows? But with the right adoption, with the right adoption, right regulations, and right corporations coming into play, it can reach that number. But everything needs to fall into plan for it to. Phantom seating at rank 1 in my portfolio. Skill chosen. Thank you, Sister Shelly. This is what Funky Brother said to Shelly. I brought Phantom at the bottom. Okay, Chozo. AR out of the 3 miles. No, HOT is still good as well. AR is good as well. File is good regarding those projects. Corporations will grow tenfold. They will. They definitely will, in my opinion, as well. All freedom or good play. Shelly, I would say all freedom or good play. Whichever you want to go for. Now, the future of global financial system is tokenization. According to Tim Bailey. Now, by the way, tokenization is also falling. Tokenization is also falling under the category of finance, because it's just another avenue stream for finance. So the money category, in other words, in a very simple way. Is HOT Hulo? Yes, that's the one center. Now everybody's thinking about it. $1,500 into HOT, 1 million tokens. If it hits in 2025, that's a very good payday. And HOT is a genuine project. Thank you, Shelly, for helping our sample. Tim Bailey, VP of Global Business and Operations. Red Date Technology William, a cryptocurrency and blockchain investor and co-founder of Wax and Tether, and I, Silva, were essentially honored to be invited to join the Euros of Blockchain Summit with a panel of discussions on the future of tokenization. Tim Bailey indicated that while tokenization still is at its early stages, Red Date Technology is one of the co-architects of the new global digital infrastructure for digital payments and central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. So far, 134 countries and currency unions representing 98% of the global GDP are exploring CBDCs that will tokenize the global financial and banking systems. 3 countries have fully launched a CBDC: the Bahamas, Jamaica, and Nigeria. The other countries that are also in CBDCs: China, India, and Russia's doing some testings. Red Date Technology is the technical architects of various products, including blockchain-based service networks (BSN) and a universal digital payments network (UDPN), which is a global messaging network supporting government-regulated currency systems involving regulated digital currencies, stablecoins, and CBDCs. It's a government system. A universal digital payments network is what they're calling it, and is used by governments for stablecoins and CBDCs. Tim Bailey said at the panel, Universal Digital Payments Network, UDPN, has successfully launched an all-in-one digital currency sandbox that empowers central and commercial banks to test and build innovative use cases with all forms of regulated currencies in the real environment. If you don't know what a digital sandbox is, basically a digital sandbox is essentially where these platforms, these crypto platforms and so on, they can come out and test their products out there. And also government entities and also companies can come out and test out blockchain projects within that digital sandbox before implementing it on a worldwide base or implementing a domestic base in their own countries. So that's what digital sandbox is. The UDP, and by the way, a digital sandbox is on the way between the United States and the United Kingdom. The UK, the US, and the Bank of England, and the FCA, and the SEC are apparently coming together. According to Hester Pierce, an SEC member, are coming together for a digital sandbox, for a joint venture between the UK and the US with the Bank of England and the SEC and the FCA. The UDPN, an all-in-one digital currency sandbox, will help prepare financial institutions for the new digital financial world and build innovative new services based on the insights of UDPN team's work over the past year, with over 25 global commercial banks involved. Central banks and technology companies are all involved in this whole UDPN scenario of digital payments between banks. I enjoyed taking part in the Future of Tokenization panel with William and Silva at the Eurasian Blockchain Conference in Turkey today. Thank you to Scenic and his team for hosting us at this great event. The UPDN team contributes to the global efforts being made by various organizations, including the International Monetary Fund, the World. These are all the people that are, by the way, these are all the entities and platforms and banks that are involved in countries. The International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, Switzerland's Central Bank Monetary Authority of Singapore as well, and Project Guardian, the Bank for International Settlements, Project Argo, the Central Banks of Institutions of International Finance, which invented the private financial sector to join its exploration of how tokenization can enhance functioning of a wholesale cross-border payments, and the Basel Committee, the global standards setter for regulating banks. The company works with public sector players as well as private financial sector partners such as HSBC Bank, Standard Chartered, Deutsche Bank to test new forms of digital currencies and digital asset technologies that will ultimately benefit the global economy. William explained that he realized the revolutionary potential of tokenization. In 2024, they realized it. In 2014, they realized it. Since 2014, they've been looking into this ideology of tokenization. When he co-founded the world's first and most traded stablecoin Tether, because tokenization especially allows representing assets and their rights digitally by using tokens on blockchain, he foresaw that this could transform not only digital asset trading, including NFTs, but also any asset that could be represented digitally, such as stocks, bonds, and other assets. A disruptor to the conventional financial systems and a trailblazer in the digital use of traditional currencies, he co-founded Tether's token and are built on multiple blockchains. I think that within the next 10 to 15 years, the world will transition to using digital currencies, that paper currencies will be something of the past in the next 10 to 15 years. I agree with Tim and William that tokenization of the global financial system is the direction in which the global financial markets are headed. What has been helpful in this process is that world regulators have been collaborating on designing the digital asset legal framework in areas of tax, money laundering, and banking laws so that similar laws apply in all jurisdictions. The Organization for Economic Cooperations and Developments approved the Crypto Asset Reporting Framework (CORF) in August 2022. This framework provides for the standardized reporting of tax information on transactions in crypto assets via CRS. With a view to automatically exchanging such information, so far 48 countries have pledged to implement CORF. 48 countries are basically on board at the same level to be implementing crypto regulations in terms of tax. The Financial Action Task Force, FAFT, issued money laundering standards on virtual assets and virtual asset service providers, VASP, in 2019. Self-reported FAT and FT surveys now. Can everybody see me? And with the platform cut out for a second. The platform for a second cut out. Can everybody see me? Just for a thumbs up, just to make sure. Yep, we're back. Yep. Yeah, the platform I'm using to multicast. This happens. Very rarely, but happens sometimes. So, as I was saying, thank you everyone. Thank you, Funky Brother. JP, thank you. Shelly, thank you. Stormy, thank you. Emon, thank you. Let me know, we're back. So, as I was saying, before that happened, the Financial Action Task Force, FAFT, issued a money laundering standards on virtual assets and virtual asset service providers, VASP, in 2019. Chain Analysis reported that 58 jurisdictions self-reported FAFT surveys show now all jurisdictions, 100% of them, have either conducted all jurisdictions. I don't know what's going on now. The MacBook for a second. Okay, all jurisdictions 100% have either conducted or in process of conducting a risk assessment covering virtual assets and VASP transactions. 5 jurisdictions, 9% of those, have or essentially are in the process of explicitly banning virtual assets and VASP transactions. China, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and essentially are in progress, and Indonesia, of banning them, crypto assets. 10 jurisdictions, 17% of them, have not yet established a regulatory framework to require VASP to register or license and apply AML and CFT measures. Vietnam, New Zealand have no regulations going on whatsoever still. Full-on implementation of regulations, or announced they're going to be a part of this whole scenario of AML, CFT, AML, anti-money laundering laws. However, Turkey, Argentina, Colombia are in progress, alongside the 5 above jurisdictions which are in process of explicitly prohibiting virtual assets in terms of transactions. The Basel Committee, the global standard setter for regulating banks, has pushed back the implementation of Basel rules for digital assets by the year to January 2026. So by 2026, essentially, is when things are going to be moving forward regarding from now until 2026 is what they're aiming for regarding the Basel Committee as well in terms of crypto regulations. Now, the next news to go through on tonight's live show is regarding Ripple CEO. So that was the news regarding Bank of International Settlements, the International Monetary Fund, Switzerland Bank, Singapore, HSBC, Standard Chartered Bank, and the list just went on with the amount of countries, the amount of banks, and so on, of how they're fully involved into this whole sector of CBDCs and tokenization as well, and how far they've come since 2014. they've been on this venture of essentially moving forward in terms of cryptocurrencies. It's 2014. Now we're in 2024. Everybody thinks the corporate sector got involved a bit late inside in the crypto sector. They didn't get involved that late. Some corporates did get involved a bit late, but the main corporates and the Bank of International Settlements and the International Monetary Fund have been in this game for a very long time in terms of digital assets, very long time, beyond what you can imagine. Even going back before 2014, believe it or not. Even going as far as back as 1980, there's a PDF document in the Bank of International Settlements titled eCash 1, eCash 2. But no mind on that, putting that to one side. But it's an indication of how far they've come so far, with about 58 jurisdictions getting very close out of the rest of the jurisdictions, but 58 jurisdictions getting very close, which is a big number. 58 countries are getting very close to launching fully on cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, regulations, implementing a lot of laws and so on. That's a lot of countries. But 98% of the world is in CBDCs and tokenizations apparently now, but not tokenizations in terms of cryptocurrencies, tokenizations in terms of CBDC tokenizations from the Bank of International Settlements, which is a big number. Now, before we go for the Ripple CEO news next, so I'm going to move on from the Bank of International Settlements news and move on from the HSBC Standard Chartered Bank news and so on. We're going to go to the Ripple news next, but before we go through that, let's consider the comment section first, see if anybody's got any comments. Before the network situation got up, was just thinking about, I read that, I was here. Is hot hula? Yes, should I answer that? Okay, we're here. £1,500 is equals to 768,000 because it's a little bit higher, so £2,000 maybe. yes, we're back. Thank you for that, Iman. Thank you for that. Good night, Miles and CMF family. I've got an early start. Funky brother, see you tomorrow, brother. Same time as usual. So, Ripple CEO. Crypto developments magical is the way he put it. In a recent CNBC interview, Ripple CEO Brad shared his enthusiasm and optimism about the current state of the crypto industry. Ripple CEO Brad and Kraken's chief legal officer, Macro, on crypto regulations from the Congress 2024 in a recent CNBC Crypto World episode. When asked about his thoughts on the recent developments of cryptocurrency industry, Brad responded with a palpable essentially excitement, stating it's a magical time to be alive, is what Brad said. It's a magical time to be alive when he was asked about it. The Ripple CEO remarks comes at a time when the industry is witnessing increased mainstream adoption, which we are. 937 corporations are technically in the ETF space. 937 corporations are in the ETF space. 98% of the world is in CBDCs and tokenizations, according to the Bank of International Settlements. I mean, what more of an adoption rate would you want in terms of proof? 937 corporations inside the ETF space, 98% of the world inside the CBDC and tokenization space and regulation space. We're definitely shifting. So regarding Ripple's CEO remark comes at a time when the industry is witnessing an increased mainstream adoption, which we are, innovation in blockchain technology, and a surge in institutional interest, which is the best. A lot of people will tell you institutions are very, very bad companies, which they are. But do you know what bad companies have a lot of? Money. And that money comes towards the projects you are holding, if you're holding the correct projects. So, hoping legitimate projects is what you want to be aiming for. Projects that companies would be interested in investing into. The two categories I already outlined which ones they are, the money category and the data category. The Ripple CEO's remarks regarding that and institutional interest. In May, Ethereum spot ETFs regarding gaining their approval in the US. Institutional interest in cryptocurrencies has been growing with major financial institutions and corporations integrating crypto assets into their operations, which they are. There's a lot of corporations right now integrating crypto assets into their movements and so on, into their operations. For example, on paper, we have JP Morgan regarding Onyx and Ethereum, which is not public. It's not for the retail section, for the corporate section, but they're incorporating it in their operations. We also have them venturing out to AVAX on a subnet green chain, which again is incorporating it regarding JP Morgan. Also Citibank doing that same venture as well on a subnet green. That's just one example. There are thousands of examples inside the crypto space regarding corporations implementing it, which I've explained pretty much on every live show, every single night. Now, Ripple has also been, this trend is seen as a validation of a long-term potential of digital currencies and blockchain technology, which it is. It shows that the crypto space is becoming a mature space. And when it becomes a mature space, it gets the big money. The small money always comes from the retail. The big money always comes from the corporates. And it's coordinated money, which is the best type of money to enter any investment. Retail money is scattered. Retail money will enter a crypto project and probably lose interest by 6 months' time and jump to another crypto project. Corporate money enters a crypto project, stays there for a good 5 years, or 10, or 15, or 20. You know why? Because they chose wisely to build. They're not looking for a quick buck. This is why retail money is always scattered. Corporate money is the best kind of money. When it enters a crypto project, never leaves. Ripple has been at the forefront of leveraging blockchain technology for real-world applications, particularly in the realm of cross-border payments. In the week, Ripple unveiled its visions and roadmap for institutional DeFi on the XRP ledger, which they did. You could also go on their Ripple's website. They revealed step by step of how they're going to be doing it regarding XRP. So if anybody ever still wondered till this day, ironically, till this day, 2024, that is Ripple going to be using XRP? The answer is yes. It's very simple. It's yes. It's on their website. They released it yesterday. They did a Q&A of how they're going to be using XRP step by step. Brad's words also reflect a broader sense of excitement within the community as the potential of digital currencies and blockchain technology continues to unfold. Despite facing challenges including regulatory scrutiny and market fluctuations, the crypto space has shown remarkable resilience and innovation. The emergence of new platforms, the integration of blockchain into various sectors, and increasing interest from traditional financial institutions all contributes to the magical atmosphere Brad is describing. As Ripple and other key players in the industry continue to drive innovation and adoption, it indeed appears to be a magical time to be involved in the world of crypto. Which is true. Absolute facts. It definitely is a magical time. You're nowhere near the end at all. We're nowhere near the end. We're still in a bull type of situation, just a manipulated one. We're in a bull type situation. There's still a lot of things to be happening this year. If anybody told you we're topped out, we haven't topped out at all. We're still in it. We're still in it. As I put a tweet out, essentially, a while ago regarding a second bull run, which is in slow progress, but a second bull run. It's all about utility. With all of this institutional adoption coming in, with all of these institutional adoption, with the banking sector coming in, with regulations essentially coming in, and essentially all of them stating, they're going into utility, which is the second biggest run in the entire bull cycle. And a utility run isn't, a 4-year cycle. A utility run is a utility run, which means it continues going pretty much up every year. Obviously with speed bumps and corrections and so on, but not a 4-year cycle type of situation anymore. It's a utility run, therefore it's being used. The issue is because the crypto sector has been stuck on this whole 4-year cycle because the utility hasn't kicked in. But once the utility kicks in, the 4-year cycle becomes useless because it's being used now. So certain particular crypto assets are being used in the financial system. They're being used by the corporate section on a 24/7 basis. So a 4-year cycle doesn't apply to them. Because everybody forgot inside the retail section that main purpose of cryptocurrencies is not buy, sell, quick buck. It's utility. Something that's happening now, which most people aren't paying attention to. And Brad mentioned it perfectly. We are in a magical time, is what Brad said. It's facts. We are. With the adoption of the institutions, the adoption of the banking sector, the adoption of the regulations, Some may see it as a negative. Some might say regulations are bad. Corporate section is bad. Banking sector is bad. Why are they coming inside of crypto? I don't want the banking sector or the financial or the corporate sector or the regulations. I don't want any of them, is what people would say sometimes inside the crypto sector. But those people are morons. Because whether you like it or not, the banking sector is coming and is already in the crypto sector. Whether you like it or not, the regulations are coming. Whether you like it or not, the institutions are coming and they're already in it. So whether you like it or not, it's going to be happening. So why not benefit from it? Then go against it. If you want to benefit from it, then there's projects out there that are working with, they're going to be benefiting from the regulations, benefiting from the financial sector, benefiting from the institutions. You know how you can tell? They're contracts. If you want to tell a crypto project is going to become successful, don't look at how fast or how cheap it is. Don't look at how fast it is or how cheap it is or how, if it's new or if it's old. A moron will tell you that matters inside the crypto sector. A moron will tell you if a crypto sector, if this crypto project is fast, if it's faster than the rest, or if it's cheaper than the rest, then it must be, it's the best. Or if this crypto project is new, it's better than the old ones. It's got nothing to do with old, new, fast, cheap. One example, Ethereum, slow and expensive. Look at how well adapted Ethereum is. It's slow and expensive. Those are facts. I use Ethereum all the time to pay fees. And Ethereum is slow and expensive. So does that apply to the theory of, this crypto project is fast and cheap, so therefore it's the best? It's got nothing to do with the fastest or the cheapest or which one's old project or which one's a new project. Contracts. Who are they working with? Okay, PDF contracts, not participation trophies. They're participating in this project. Contracts. Are they working with BlackRock? Are they working with Fidelity? Are they working with Goldman Sachs? Are they working with Standard Chartered Bank? Are they working with HSBC? Are they working on the authority of Singapore? Are they working on the authority of the FCA? Are they working with the Bank of England? That's what matters. Contracts, just PDF contracts, because that will show their adoption rate. You want to become successful in crypto in the long term, make generational wealth? Contracts. It's not about who's the fastest, who's the cheapest, who's the old project, who's a new project. Morons will tell you that counts. Contracts. That's all that matters. And we've reached the end of this live show as well. But yeah, Brad is facts. It's a magical time to be inside the crypto sector. Best strategy is to buy crypto, move it to a cold wallet, go to sleep, and wake up in 2030 and enjoy the rest. Good way to put it. Good night, Miles, and all CMF. Thank you for all the news. JP, see you tomorrow as usual, brother. So, on today's live show, we talked about Ripple CEO, talking about it's a magical time to be inside the crypto space, and it really is. We talked about, on tonight's live show, regarding the stats that came in from the Bank of International Settlements of who's involved and who's not inside the crypto sector. About 98% of the world is involved. Jurisdictions, about 98% of countries are involved in terms of CBDCs and tokenizations, which is massive. It shows the adoption rate, and it also talked about all the banks involved as well. So I'm just giving the gist of what we talked about in tonight's live show. We also talked about the future of the global financial system in terms of tokenization. We also talked about Kennedy Jr. running for presidency. We also talked about Russia investing about $100 million to build the biggest Bitcoin mining industry there is in Russia. We also talked about Van Eck's CEO talking about how it's also a historic time to be in. We also talked about Franklin Templeton and regarding embracing in terms of how things are going inside the corporate sector and embracing the part of cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology. The majority of the news we went through tonight was all bullish on prospectus from Franklin Templeton, Ripple's CEO, and the Bank of International Settlements. We also talked about Ripple might be floating the idea of an IPO, but outside the United States. We also talked about Google going back into the metaverse space, and Google has a lot of partnerships. We also talked about Ark Invest and 21 shares walking their separate paths. We also talked about Senator Ted Cruz, essentially giving his perspectives on Bitcoin mining institutions. and how he's got involved in Bitcoin mining institutions, which again brings eyes on the crypto sector. We talked about how 500 million people plus on inside the crypto sector now, according to some data. We also talked about essentially Joe Biden and how he vetoed a crypto bill, the SAB 121. However, a lot of people aren't mentioning this inside the crypto sector. Yes, Joe Biden did veto the SAB 121 Act. However, 2/3 of a majority vote from the House can overturn Joe Biden's veto, something that nobody's talking about inside the crypto space. Two to third votes of the House can overturn Joe Biden's vote regarding his veto. So you can go back to normal. Magical life tonight, Miles. Thank you, sir. Good night, Miles and CMF. Jason, see you tomorrow, sometimes as usual, brother. Take care, Miles and family. Ray, see you tomorrow, brother, sometimes as usual. Good night, Miles and all CMF. Thank you, JP. See you tomorrow, brother, sometimes as usual. Ray, see you tomorrow, brother, sometimes as usual. Jason, see you tomorrow, sometimes as usual. Carol, see you tomorrow, sometimes as usual. Yes, we have reached the endings of tonight's live show. If you enjoyed tonight's live show, you can tune into this live show every single night. We talk about recent news that's happening around the world. We talk about cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, regulations, AI, and the adoption rate that's happening around the world. And we do Q&As as well, which means you give me the questions, I give you the answers, and I read everybody's comments one by one in the comment section. So, if you enjoyed tonight's live show, drop a follow, drop a like, and tune into it every single night. You can tune into this live show every single night at the exact same time you're watching me. Obviously, you'll be tuning at the ending of this live show as every single night. But if you tune in at an earlier time, around 11:25 p.m. onwards, UK time, you can tune in at the beginning of this live show on YouTube or X, depending on where you're watching me from. So drop a follow, drop a like if you enjoyed tonight's live show, and tune into every single night. Thanks, Miles, for what you do. Good day and good night to all CMF. Shelly, see you tomorrow sometimes as usual as well. Happy Pisces, see you tomorrow sometimes as usual as well. Good night, Miles. Another great live as normal. Let's go, Addy. Addy, see you tomorrow sometimes as usual as well. I will see everybody tomorrow, same time as usual. Everybody have a great day. Biden can say goodbye to so many voters. We don't need no one that's old in the White House, period. He can't think outside the box. Fair enough. Good night, Miles and CMF. Stormy, see you tomorrow same time as usual as well. Stormy, let's go. I will see everybody tomorrow, same timing as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you are around the world. See you all tomorrow, same time as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you're around the world. CMF.